I'm Mia, and I'm 32. My father controlled my life with emotional and physical abuse for years. No one stepped in, not even when he smashed my face into my dinner plate in front of his business partners. My mother smirked, saying, "Well, now you're worth looking at." My father added, "She's got no value, just a prop at my table." The guests' faces turned pale, seeing my family's true colors. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. If you've ever felt invisible at home, hit subscribe. My story might guide you to your own escape. To everyone else, we were the perfect American family. My father, Harold, built a booming business from scratch. Our Boston suburban home, with its flawless lawn and chic decor, made neighbors jealous. My mother, Diane, threw dazzling dinner parties and charity galas. And me? Their only daughter, always in pricey outfits, smiling for photos. But behind closed doors, it was a nightmare. I spent my childhood chasing my parents' approval. At 6, I brought home an art project my teacher loved, she even hung it up in class. I was so excited to show them. My father barely looked before saying, "Is this your best?" The perspective's all wrong. I didn't even know what perspective meant back then. My mother was just as cruel. She was obsessed with how I looked. Stand straighter, Mia. Smile better, Mia. That outfit makes you look heavy, Mia. Nothing I did was ever enough. Their love came with conditions, tied to achievements I could never quite reach. When my brother Thomas was born, I was 8. I hoped another kid might lighten the pressure. Instead, it showed how differently we were treated. Thomas's average grades got cheers, my straight A's were just expected. His tantrums were boys being boys, my tears were manipulation. Our extended family had to sense something was wrong. My grandmother once asked if I was okay after I flinched at my father's loud voice. But my mother cut me off, changing the topic. My Aunt Patricia gave me worried looks when my father tore into me publicly, but she never spoke up. No one ever did. My father's rage was always simmering. Bad business deals meant punched walls or thrown objects. My mother taught me early how to handle him. "Stay quiet when he's like that," she'd whisper. "Don't let him notice you." I got good at being invisible, speaking only when spoken to, guessing his needs before he said them. School was my safe haven. I dove into studies and joined every club, debate, student council, orchestra, volleyball, just to avoid going home. By middle school, I believed something was wrong with me. Why else would my parents treat me this way? I picked myself apart, searching for their flaws in me: too loud, too quiet, too emotional, too cold. I could never get it right. My father ruled us with an iron fist, calling it high standards. He checked my grades online daily, grilling me over anything below 95%. He vetted my friends, banning anyone he thought wasn't ambitious enough. At 12, I got invited to a slumber party. He called the parents, quizzing them about supervision, then said it was inappropriate. I cried alone that night while my friends had fun. My mother's control was quieter but just as painful. She used guilt like a weapon. "After all we do for you," she'd say. If I dared show sadness, she'd lecture me about kids with real problems and call me ungrateful for our fancy life. Our house was full of expensive stuff, but it felt cold. Furniture was for show, not comfort. Dinners were like rehearsals, practicing manners instead of sharing our lives. My father would quiz me on my wins or failures. "What did you do today to earn your place?" he'd ask. To them, I wasn't a kid, I was an investment they wanted returns from. As a teenager, I started seeing our family wasn't normal. My friends' parents treated them with kindness and respect. Their dads hugged them, didn't criticize their posture. Their moms protected them, didn't sacrifice them to calm an angry husband. But knowing this made me feel more alone, more sure I was the problem. If I could just be better, maybe they'd love me like other parents loved their kids. My teen years brought harsher criticism. As my body changed, it became another thing for them to judge. My mother tracked every bite I ate, pointing out my problem areas. My father made comments no dad should make. "No man will want you if you eat like that," he'd say at dinner. Or, "Be thankful we can afford braces, your real smile would scare people off." College applications turned into a new fight. I wanted to study psychology, drawn to understanding people, maybe even my family. My father laughed it off. "Psychology's for people who can't handle real fields," he said. "You'll study business and join my company." That's final. My father scoffed when I mentioned studying psychology. "That's for people who can't handle real fields," he snapped. "You'll study business and join my company." End of story. My mother, as always, backed him up. "Your father knows what's best for you, Mia. Why do you always resist?" I secretly applied to psychology programs and even won a scholarship to a top university far away. But my father found the acceptance letter. The fight that followed was one of the worst I've ever faced. He ripped it to shreds in front of me, calling me ungrateful and sneaky. Then he called his contacts on the university's board, getting my scholarship cancelled. I ended up at his alma mater, studying business as he ordered. In my freshman year, I met Jake. He was kind, caring, the first person who truly valued my thoughts. After 3 months, I brought him home for dinner. My father wasted no time cutting me down, sharing embarrassing stories and contradicting me. Jake noticed, squeezing my hand under the table. Later, he gently said my father seemed controlling. It was the first time anyone put a name to it. 2 weeks later, Jake and I were over. My father had called his family, questioning Jake's grades and future, hinting he was using me for our connections. Jake's parents pushed him to end it. I was heartbroken but not shocked. Anyone close to me got caught in my father's need to control everything. Depression and anxiety shadowed me constantly, though I didn't know what to call them. When I told my mother I felt sad all the time, she said to toughen up and called me too sensitive. I started getting stomach aches, insomnia, panic attacks. A campus doctor suggested counseling, but my father wouldn't pay, dismissing it as self-indulgent nonsense. After college, I joined my father's company as planned. It gave him new ways to control me. He criticized my work in front of everyone, set impossible goals, and claimed my successes as his own. Coworkers kept their distance, knowing I was always in his crosshairs, except Sophia, the marketing director, who saw the truth right away. Sophia was in her 40s, confident, successful. She mentored me quietly, giving support I'd never had. After a brutal public scolding, she said, "Your father's behavior isn't normal or okay in any workplace. I bet it's not new." Her words hit me hard. Someone else saw it. I wasn't crazy or oversensitive. My mother stopped just enabling my father, she joined him. At one Sunday dinner, I wore a dress I'd bought myself. She looked me over and said, "That color makes you look pale. Why do you pick things that show your flaws?" Dinner parties got grander once I worked for the family business. They were like plays, with us acting the perfect family. My father would boast about guiding me while cutting me down. "Mia's still learning," he'd tell guests after I spoke, patting my hand like I was a child. "She's got a long way to go." My anger grew, but I still chased their approval. Even as an adult, I believed if I worked harder, achieved more, became perfect, they'd love me the way I needed. It was a cycle I couldn't escape. My father's physical threats got bolder. He'd grab my arm to make a point, leaving bruises. He'd loom over me in arguments, using his height to intimidate. Once, when I disagreed about a client presentation, he slammed his hand on the desk, spilling my coffee. "This is why women don't belong in business," he hissed. Too emotional for real pressure. I kept trying to win their love, thinking I could find the perfect mix of success and behavior. It was like a puzzle where the pieces kept shifting. Every time I thought I had it, the rules changed. Everything shifted at a dinner in April. My father invited the Wilsons and Garcias, key players for a deal that could double our company's revenue. Everything must be perfect, my mother insisted, directing the catering staff. Mia, wear the blue dress I got you, it hides your flaws. I prepared for hours, studying company profiles and news to join the conversation if needed. I got my hair done, applied makeup carefully. The blue dress, as my mother said, covered what she called my flaws. In the mirror, I barely recognized myself, polished, professional, perfect. Maybe tonight I'd finally make them proud. The night started well. My father was in his element, charming and commanding. The Wilsons were industry veterans, the Garcias brought fresh tech ideas to our old-school business. My mother played the perfect hostess, subtly flaunting our wealth and status. I played my part perfectly, speaking only when spoken to, laughing at the right times, praising my mother's flawless taste. The first course arrived, and talk turned to business trends and markets. My father, as always, took charge, painting himself as the visionary who saw what others missed. Then Mr. Garcia asked about our social media strategy, my specialty. Before my father could answer, I jumped in, sharing insights on new platforms and audience shifts. The table went quiet, I hadn't been invited to speak. Mr. Garcia was impressed. "That's sharp thinking," he said, nodding. Mrs. Wilson agreed, saying her company struggled with younger audiences. For a brief moment, I felt seen, valued. Then I glanced at my father. His face was stone, but I knew that look, rage brewing beneath his fake smile. I'd stolen his spotlight and impressed his clients. My stomach twisted, dreading what was coming, though I never expected it to be so brutal. The main course came, perfectly cooked salmon with fresh vegetables. My father smoothly took back control, steering talk to old-school marketing. Across the table, Sophia caught my eye, giving a small nod. As marketing director, she knew my input mattered. Halfway through, talk shifted to family businesses. Mr. Wilson mentioned his daughter running their European branch. "Nothing like trusted family in key roles," he said. "Is Mia next in line to lead?" My father's grip tightened on his wine glass. "Mia's got a lot to learn," he said, brushing me off. "Leadership needs a natural authority she doesn't have." His words stung, not me, never me. I should have stayed quiet. I knew challenging him in public was risky. But something broke inside me. "Actually," I said, voice steady, "our digital division grew 30% under my lead this year. Client retention is at a record high." Silence hit hard. Mrs. Garcia smiled, clearly impressed. Mr. Wilson looked curious. My father's face darkened, my mother's smile turned stiff. I'd crossed a line I couldn't undo. What happened next was so fast, no one reacted at first. My father grabbed my head and slammed my face into my plate. The ceramic cracked against my nose and mouth. Warm salmon and sauce smeared across my face, into my hair, down my dress. When he let go, I sat up, stunned, humiliated, sauce dripping from my chin. My mother smirked, chuckling. "Well, now you're worth looking at," she said. "The food adds some color." My father, ignoring the shocked faces around us, said coldly, "She's got no value, just a prop at my table, and not even a pretty one." The guests froze. Mrs. Wilson gasped, hand to her mouth. Mr. Garcia half stood, glancing between me and my father. Sophia's fork clattered onto her plate. For a moment, no one moved. The perfect family act crumbled before the people my father wanted to impress. Blood mixed with the sauce, tasting sharp and salty. Tears stung, but I held them back, crying would make it worse. "Excuse me," I whispered, legs shaky as I stood. "I need to clean up." "You should," my mother said brightly, trying to save face. "Always so clumsy, Mia. Please, everyone, keep eating. She's fine." As I left, my father spun a lie. Mia's been struggling emotionally, he said, voice dripping with fake worry. We're concerned about her stability. Young people these days, so much pressure. We're thinking of getting her help. Before I shut the bathroom door, I heard Mrs. Garcia's sharp reply, maybe Mia's not the one who needs help. A stranger cared more about me than my parents ever did. In the bathroom, I locked the door and let tears fall. Blood and food stained the white sink. My nose throbbed but wasn't broken. The blue dress was ruined. In the mirror, my eyes looked hollow, haunted. How long had I been this way? As I wiped my face, memories hit, my father yanking my arm at a company picnic when I was 10, hissing I'd embarrassed him, my mother telling guests at 13 I was awkward, urging them not to look too closely. So many humiliations I'd accepted as normal. My phone buzzed. Sophia. Are you okay? Need help? It was the first time anyone offered support after something like this. I didn't know how to answer. Was I okay? Had I ever been? A sharp knock came. Mia, enough, my mother snapped, annoyed, not worried. They're finishing the main course. This is unacceptable. I opened the bathroom door, and there was my mother, arms crossed, face full of annoyance. No trace of concern, just irritation that I'd messed up her perfect dinner. You provoked him, she hissed softly. You know not to challenge your father in front of clients. What were you thinking? He slammed my face into my plate, I whispered, still stunned it happened in front of everyone. Don't be dramatic. It was just a tap. You should thank him, the Wilsons and Garcias won't forget you now. She shoved a compact at me. Fix your makeup. Come back for dessert. And smile, you're sulking's ugly. I obeyed like a robot, numbly following orders. The rest of the dinner blurred by. I smiled, nodded, and mumbled an apology for my clumsiness when Mrs. Wilson asked if I was okay. The Garcias left early, mentioning a morning meeting. The Wilsons stayed for coffee but skipped dessert. No one spoke of it, but the tension was thick, like a storm cloud over the table. The drive home was eerie. My father acted like nothing happened, chatting about the wine and Mr. Wilson's golf game. My mother rambled about redecorating the dining room. Their ability to erase reality was chilling. In their story, I hadn't been assaulted, I'd just had a clumsy accident, maybe even on purpose to ruin my father's deal. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I lay awake, replaying the moment, my father's violence, my mother's cruelty, the guests' shocked faces. They saw it. Their horror confirmed what I'd always known but couldn't accept, this wasn't normal. It wasn't okay. It was abuse. The next morning, I dragged myself to work, though every part of me screamed to run and never look back. The office was too quiet. People glanced at me, then quickly away. Sophia called in sick. Whispers about the night before were already spreading. Before noon, my father called me to his office. Close the door, he said, his calm voice scarier than any shout. Let's be clear, Mia. Family matters stay private. Understand? Yes, I answered automatically. The Wilsons pulled out this morning, he said, eyes pinning the blame on me. Your little stunt last night cost us millions. Hope you're happy. I stayed silent, which seemed to anger him more than any words could. If anyone asks, you had a migraine, got dizzy, fell forward. That's it. Family stays private. Clear? Crystal clear, I said, voice empty. Later, my mother called, demanding I come for Sunday lunch. We need to look united, she said. People talk. We can't show any cracks. No apology, no regret, just obsession with keeping up appearances. Back at my desk, I saw Sophia's email, asking to meet at a coffee shop nearby after work. Part of me wanted to say no, to hide in the isolation I knew so well. But a small, new voice inside pushed me to go. Sophia was waiting in a corner booth, away from windows. Her eyes caught the bruising my concealer couldn't hide. "Mia," she said softly, "I'm so sorry." Those words broke me. No one had ever apologized for my parents' actions, ever said it was wrong, that I deserved better. Tears came before I could stop them. "Last night was assault," Sophia said quietly. "It was abusive, criminal. And from your reaction, I bet it's not the first time." "They're not always like that," I said, defending them out of habit. I provoked him. I spoke out of turn. Sophia took my hand gently. "Mia, nothing you did justifies what he did. Nothing. No parent should treat their child like that, no matter their age." "But they're my parents," I whispered, voice catching. "That makes it worse, not better. Parents protect, not harm." She squeezed my hand. "You deserve better, Mia. Part of you knows it, or you wouldn't be here." That talk cracked the lies I'd lived by, that their treatment was normal, that I deserved it, that I could never escape. For the first time, I saw the truth: the problem wasn't me. It never was. The next day, I called in sick to work. Calling in sick was a first for me. My father's furious voicemail made it clear he saw it as rebellion, not illness. But I needed space to think, to plan, to breathe. Sophia had given me her therapist's card, Dr. Eleanor Lambert. After hours of doubt, I finally dialed her number. Dr. Lambert saw me that day. Her office felt warm, cozy, not the sterile place I'd pictured. She listened without judgment as I stumbled through my childhood, my parents' control, and the dinner incident. When I finished, she didn't lecture or analyze. She just asked, "Mia, what do you want your life to look like?" No one had ever cared about my dreams. "I don't know," I admitted. "I've never been allowed to want anything for myself." "Then that's our starting point," she said softly. "We'll help you find what you want, what you need, and dream of a better life." I started seeing Dr. Lambert twice a week. She taught me about narcissistic abuse, gaslighting, and manipulation. My father's behavior fit narcissistic personality disorder. My mother was an enabler, sometimes a co-abuser. Most importantly, she showed me it wasn't my fault. Kids don't cause their parents to hurt them, ever. Sophia helped in practical ways. During lunch breaks, we hunted for apartments in secure buildings far from my parents' reach. She connected me with her financial advisor, who set up bank accounts my father couldn't touch. Each step toward freedom felt thrilling yet terrifying. "Gather your documents," Sophia said one afternoon, scrolling through apartment listings. "Birth certificate, social security card, passport, financial records. Move them slowly so they don't notice." I added them to my phone's checklist. Each item was a step toward breaking their control. Pretending nothing had changed was the hardest part. At work and home, I acted like the obedient daughter I'd always been. My father was cold but watched me closely, suspicion in his eyes. My mother's daily calls were check-ins disguised as small talk. "When will you be home? Who'd you lunch with? Why was your car downtown?" The Garcias pulled out of the deal, citing our toxic company culture. Other partners started backing away too. Despite my father's efforts to control the story, rumors spread fast in our tight industry about bosses who mistreat their staff, especially their own daughters. As his business struggled, my father's mood at home grew darker. Sunday dinners were unbearable. Every word I said was picked apart, every look scanned for betrayal. My mother's criticism sharpened, sensing my shift. "You're different," she accused one night. "Still upset about that dinner? Learn to take correction, Mia." Correction? That's what they called assault. In therapy, I explored my future. Dr. Lambert showed me my digital marketing skills were valuable. "Your father doesn't own your talent or your future," she said. I secretly updated my resume and contacted industry folks from conferences, far from my father's reach. To my surprise, several were interested. My work stood strong, despite his constant put-downs. I found a small, modern one-bedroom apartment in a secure building across town. The rent fit my budget, thanks to savings I'd quietly stashed. Sophia helped me sign the lease, using her address to keep it secret from my parents. "When will you tell them?" she asked over coffee, celebrating the lease. "When everything's ready," I said. "No warning, they'll try to stop me." She nodded, understanding the stakes. "You'll need a safety plan for that day." "Want me there?" Her offer warmed my heart. Having someone who believed in me was still new. "Yes," I said. "I'd love that." Over 2 weeks, I moved essentials to the apartment: clothes, books, mementos, in small batches they wouldn't miss. Each item felt like reclaiming a piece of me. The final piece clicked when I got a job offer from a digital marketing firm in a nearby city. It came with a big raise and real freedom, leading my own team, valued for my skills, not my last name. I accepted, setting a start date 3 weeks out to prepare. As my new life took shape, my father grew paranoid. He checked my work computer, questioned colleagues about my conversations, even followed me to lunch once. I kept up the act, but it was tough to hide the change in me. I was waking up to my own worth, my own strength, and he could feel it. One evening, my father called me into his home office. "I've heard troubling reports about your behavior," he said, his voice calm but chilling. "Meetings outside work, strange phone calls. Care to explain?" "Just networking," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Building industry contacts, like you always taught me." He stared at me, eyes narrowing. "You're up to something," he said finally. "I can tell when you're lying, Mia. Whatever it is, rethink it. Family loyalty comes first." "Of course, Father," I said, the words bitter in my mouth. I'd never forget that. Leaving his office, I knew my time was running out. He was watching too closely, the walls closing in. Careful planning was over, I had to act fast. The final Sunday dinner came. I'd moved most of my things to my new apartment. My resignation letter was ready on my laptop. Sophia would pick me up after with my last belongings. Everything was set. My mother made her usual lavish meal, unaware it was my last time at her table. My father was in a rare good mood, fresh off signing a new client. My brother Thomas was home from college, completing our family scene. The Harrison signed, my father announced, slicing the roast. After the Wilson Garcia disaster, we needed this win. He shot me a pointed look. "Some clients still see quality." "Wonderful news," my mother said, passing potatoes. I knew they'd come around. Their usual jabs and subtle insults flew, but they didn't hit like before. Therapy, Sophia's support, and my growing strength shielded me. I wasn't the desperate girl craving their approval anymore. I was a woman ready to break free. "Mia, you're quiet tonight," my mother said mid-meal. "Feeling okay? You look flushed." "I'm fine," I said, setting down my fork. "Actually, I need to tell you something." My father scowled. "Not the time for your drama. We're celebrating a big win." "It'll be quick," I said, heart racing but voice calm. "I'm leaving." Confusion hung in the air. "Leaving what?" my mother asked. "Everything. The house, the company, this family." I took a deep breath. "I've taken a job at Morton Digital. I've got my own apartment. Today's my last day here." Silence crashed down. Thomas stared, fork frozen midair. My mother's face paled. My father's expression turned from shock to rage in seconds. "Absurd," he growled, voice low and dangerous. "You're not going anywhere. You owe this family and company." "My duty is to myself now," I said, my calm surprising me. "For 32 years, I tried to earn your love. I see now it was impossible, not because of me, but because of how you view relationships, parenting, and basic respect. How dare you, my mother gasped. After everything we've done? What have you done, mother? I asked softly. Protected me? Loved me without conditions? Or enabled his abuse and added your own cruelty? Abuse, my father spat. Is that what your therapist calls discipline? This victim act is pathetic. A chill hit me. How do you know about my therapist? He smirked coldly. You think I don't notice? I see everything, phone records, credit cards. Did Dr. Lambert write your little rebellion speech? His spying should have scared me. Instead, it fueled my resolve. Therapy showed me narcissistic abuse, gaslighting, manipulation. The dinner with the Wilsons and Garcias wasn't a one-off, it's been my whole life. My father shot up, looming over the table. You ungrateful little, he stopped, glancing at Thomas, who stared, horrified. Thomas, go to your room. This isn't for you. No, I said, voice firm. Thomas needs to hear this. He deserves to know the truth about this family. The perfect image we show the world is a lie. Always has been. My father's face twisted with fury. You don't give orders in my house. That's the point, I said, standing too. This is your house, not my home, just a stage for your act as the great businessman and father. I'm done playing my part in your show. He stepped toward me, fists clenched. For a moment, I braced for a blow, old fears screaming to back down, to apologize. But I held my ground, meeting his eyes. Go ahead, I said softly. Show Thomas who you really are. Show him what happens when someone speaks the truth. He froze, torn between rage and his need to keep up appearances, especially with Thomas watching. For a split second, I saw the emptiness in his eyes, the void inside him. My mother tried to smooth things over, as always. Mia, you're overwhelmed, she said. Let's talk tomorrow when we're all calmer. There's nothing to talk about, I said, turning to her. I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you my decision. If you leave, my father said, voice icy, you're cut off. No money, no job, no family. Is that what you want? What I want, I said steadily, is what every kid deserves, love without strings, respect for my dignity, parents who protect, not hurt. Since I can't have that here, yes, I'm walking away. My mother started crying, but I saw through it, tears of losing control, not losing me. After all we've sacrificed, she sobbed. How can you be so cruel? I learned cruelty from the best, I said flatly. But I'm choosing to break that cycle. Thomas spoke, voice small. Mia, is it really that bad? They're strict, but... Thomas, I said gently, you got a different family than I did, and I'm glad. But yes, it's that bad. The night Dad smashed my face into my plate was one of many. The endless criticism, control, manipulation, it's abuse. I can't stay. Their faces paled as I stood firm, their power over me gone. They never saw me as a person, just a thing to control. My freedom was unthinkable to them. I have a car waiting, I said, grabbing my purse. My things are moved. My resignation's on your desk, Father. My work's handed off. You'll regret this, he warned, but his voice wavered. Don't come crawling back when you fail. My only regret, I said, heading for the door, is not leaving sooner. I walked out into the warm evening, fear and joy crashing through me. Sophia waited in her car, as promised. I slid in, and she squeezed my hand. You did it, she said. I did, I said, voice cracking as it sank in. I really did. Driving away from that prison of a house, I felt free for the first time, light, unburdened by years of shame and guilt. The future scared me, but it was mine to build. My first weeks in my new apartment were wild, thrilling one minute, overwhelming the next. Simple choices stumped me: towel colors, bedtime, dinner plans. Without my parents' rules, I felt free but lost. Dr. Lambert said this was normal after escaping abuse. "You're finding your own voice," she said. "It takes time. Be kind to yourself." My job at Morton Digital started 3 weeks later. My boss, Laura, showed me around and introduced my team. "We're thrilled you're here," she said warmly. "Your portfolio's impressive, and your ideas are just what we need." It was a shock after my father's company. Here, people valued my opinions, respected my skills. My suggestions in meetings were met with note-taking, not eye rolls. It was strange but amazing. My father didn't let go easily. True to form, he tried to sabotage my new job, calling Laura to warn her about my emotional instability and unprofessional behavior. Luckily, Laura saw right through him. "Your father called yesterday," she said casually during our weekly check-in. "He seemed very worried about your mental health." My stomach sank. "What did he say?" "Nothing, I bought," she said firmly. "I judge you by your work and character, Mia. You're doing great. Your family issues are your business, not mine." Her words brought tears to my eyes. This was how healthy workplaces worked, how good people treated each other. My mother swung between angry texts and tearful pleas. "Your father just cares about you," one message read. "We want what's best. Family sticks together." Hours later, "Your selfishness is tearing us apart. Thomas is crushed by your abandonment." I shared these with Dr. Lambert, who helped me see them as manipulation, designed to pull me back with guilt. We set boundaries. I'd only respond to respectful messages and take space to heal. A month later, my Aunt Elizabeth called. She'd shown me kindness before but never stepped in. "I heard what happened," she said softly. "I believe you, Mia, and I'm sorry I didn't help." Her words soothed a deep wound. "Why didn't anyone speak up?" I asked, the question burning for years. "You all saw how they treated me." "Fear," she admitted. "Your father's intimidating." We told ourselves it wasn't that bad, that families have issues. It was easier than facing the truth. She paused. "It's not an excuse. I failed you, and I'm sorry." Her apology didn't erase the past, but it explained why no one helped, and gave hope that not all my family would side with my parents. Thomas surprised me most. 6 weeks after I left, he texted to meet for coffee. I chose a public cafe for safety. He looked different, less like the golden child, more uncertain. "I've been thinking about what you said," he started, staring at his coffee. "You had a different family than me. I've been watching Mom and Dad since you left." "What do you see?" I asked. "They treat you differently." "Always have, but I didn't see it." "And Dad, he gets this angry look, like he's holding back." He met my eyes. "Did he ever hit you, Mia?" My heart broke for us both. He was questioning everything. "Not often," I said honestly. He preferred emotional abuse, more control, less proof. "But yes, sometimes it got physical." He nodded. "I believe you," he said. "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." "I believe you became my lifeline," from Sophia, Dr. Lambert, Elizabeth, Thomas, and later, new friends. After years of gaslighting, being believed was everything. My father's business took hits as rumors spread. The Wilson Garcia incident didn't stay quiet. Key staff, including Sophia, left for better jobs. Clients bailed, citing our toxic culture. It was justice, though I didn't celebrate. 6 months later, I saw my father at a conference. I went anyway, refusing to let him limit me. We met during a coffee break. He hesitated, then extended a hand, all charm. Mia, you look well. Dinner to talk about coming back to the family business? I didn't take his hand. No, thanks, I said calmly. I'm happy where I am. His smile stiffened. This rebellion's gone far enough, he said quietly. You've made your point. Come home. This isn't a rebellion, I said, feeling the weight of curious eyes at the conference. This is my life now, and I'm not coming back. My father leaned in, his polished mask slipping. You think you can succeed without me? Everything you are, everything you know, came from me. You're nothing on your own. A year ago, those words would have crushed me. Now, they were proof I'd chosen right. I'm sorry you feel that way, I said, voice steady. I wish you well, but I need my boundaries. Don't contact me unless you're ready to own the harm you've caused and make real amends. I walked away, leaving him speechless, maybe for the first time ever. My hands trembled, but pride surged through me. I'd faced my abuser and stood firm. It was a small, earth-shaking win. As the one-year anniversary of my escape approached, a letter from my mother arrived. Unlike her usual guilt-laced texts, this one felt different. I've been seeing a therapist, she wrote. Thomas suggested it. She's helping me see things about myself and my choices. I'm not ready to accept all you've said about our family, but I'm starting to see I may have failed you as a mother. I'd like to meet someday, on your terms, when you're ready. It wasn't a full apology, but it was a crack in her denial. I took it to Dr. Lambert. This is your call, she said. No right or wrong choice. What do you feel ready for? I mulled it over for days. I'm not ready to meet, I decided. But I'll write back, set clear boundaries. Maybe one day, with more therapy, we could have something limited. That's a healthy approach, Dr. Lambert said. Reconciliation isn't required for healing. It's a choice, not a duty. Her words unlocked a cage I'd been trapped in. I'd been raised to believe family must be preserved, no matter the cost to my soul. Now I knew I could demand respect and safety, especially from family. Building my new life is a wild, ongoing adventure. Sophia remains my rock, friend, mentor, cheerleader. My team at Morton Digital values me, and I'm thriving, leading projects with boldness. I've dipped my toes back into dating, cautious but wiser, spotting red flags early. I found a support group for adult survivors of family abuse, a community that gets me. Most importantly, I'm learning to trust myself, to see my worth without anyone's approval, to hear my voice over my parents' old criticisms. Some days are tough. A lifetime of their programming doesn't vanish overnight. But each day, I grow stronger, more certain of my right to live on my terms. My value isn't what they saw at their table, it's how I see myself, free from their limits, their cruelty, worthy of love, respect, and peace. If my story feels like yours, you're not alone. Freedom is hard but possible. The first step is believing you deserve better, you do. We all do. Thanks for hearing me out. If this resonates, like and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to know escape is possible. In the comments, tell me about your journey out of toxic relationships. What was your turning point? What gave you courage to leave? Your story matters too. Walking away from my father at that conference felt like sprinting across a finish line after a brutal race. My heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the thrill of standing tall. I wasn't the girl who once shrank under his glare. I was Mia, resilient, confident, free. Back at my apartment, I sank onto my couch, clutching my mother's letter. Its words echoed, therapy. Thomas's idea. Failed you as a mother. It was a small shift, but more than I'd ever gotten from her. Could she change? Could we have something real? Hope sparked, but caution held me steady. I'd been hurt too often to leap in blindly. Writing back took days. I drafted, scrapped, and redrafted, aiming for clarity and strength. I'm glad you're in therapy, I wrote. I'm not ready to meet, but I'm open to respectful communication. I need space to heal, and I ask you to honor my pace. It was firm, fair, and kept a door cracked open without risking my safety. Dr. Lambert read it and smiled. You're setting the tone for any future relationship, she said. You're owning your needs, that's powerful. Work became my safe harbor. Morton Digital was the opposite of my father's toxic company. My team respected my ideas, and my boss, Laura, urged me to take risks. One day, I pitched a bold social media campaign for a big client, a plan I'd have never dared suggest under my father. Instead of dismissal, I got a green light and a budget. When it soared, Laura praised me publicly. Mia's vision made this happen, she said. Being valued for my work, not my last name, felt like waking from a long nightmare. Sophia and I grew tighter. Over coffee, she'd share her own story of escaping a controlling ex-boss. You're killing it, Mia, she said one afternoon, her grin wide. I took years to find the courage you've got now. Her belief in me anchored me when old doubts crept in, whispering I wasn't enough. The support group I joined was a lifeline. Meeting others who'd survived family abuse felt like finding a chosen family. We swapped raw stories, cried together, laughed together. Sarah, who left her abusive parents at 40, became a mentor. It's never too late, she said during one meeting, her eyes kind. You're young, Mia. You've got a whole life to live for you. Her words lit a fire in me, a reminder that my future was mine to shape. Dating was trickier. After Jake, I'd walled off my heart, scared of repeating old patterns. Therapy helped me spot red flags: control, dismissiveness, manipulation. I went on a few dates, keeping it light. One guy, Alex, seemed kind, but when he pushed to meet my family early, I ended it. I'm not there yet, I told him, standing firm. Protecting my peace was non-negotiable, and I was learning to guard it fiercely. Thomas stayed in touch, wrestling with our family's truth. At a lunch meetup, he asked hard questions, guilt heavy in his voice. How did I miss how they treated you? He said. I was right there. You were a kid too, I said gently. They showed you a different side. It's not your fault. He nodded, but the weight lingered. I'm trying to talk to them, he said. Mom's starting to listen, but Dad just shuts down. Change is slow, I said, echoing Dr. Lambert. Or it might not happen. Their choices aren't yours to carry. Our lunches became a ritual, a fragile bridge between us. Thomas wasn't ready to fully challenge our parents, but he was questioning their narrative. That was enough for now. My father's business kept sinking. The Wilson Garcia incident wasn't swept under the rug as he'd hoped. Industry gossip about his temper and treatment of staff, especially me, spread fast. Sophia took a director role at a rival firm, pulling key clients with her. More followed, citing our toxic company culture. It was a quiet justice, but I didn't gloat. His world wasn't mine anymore. At the 1-year mark, I celebrated in my apartment with Sophia and support group friends. We ordered pizza, laughed until our sides hurt, and toasted to new starts. To Mia, Sophia said, raising her glass. For choosing herself. Tears welled up, not from pain, but from gratitude. I'd built something real, a home, a community, a sense of self. It wasn't flawless. Some nights, old fears woke me, my father's voice hissing, "You're nothing without me." Dr. Lambert taught me to fight back. Write who you are, she said. Not who they said you were. So I did. I was Mia, creative, strong, worthy. A leader, a friend, a survivor. Those words became my truth, drowning out the old lies. My mother wrote again months later. I'm still in therapy, she said. I'm seeing how I enabled your father. I'd like to talk when you're ready. It was another step forward. I replied, boundaries firm but a door left open. I appreciate your effort, I wrote. I'll let you know when I'm ready. Dr. Lambert helped me process it. You don't owe her reconciliation, she said. Any relationship is your choice. That clarity kept me grounded. I wasn't rushing to fix things with my mother. My focus was on me, my growth, my peace. I started a blog, sharing my story anonymously. Comments poured in from others who'd faced abuse. Your words gave me courage, one wrote. I'm planning my escape. Helping others felt like purpose, like my pain could light someone else's path. I picked up hobbies I'd never had time for: painting, yoga, hiking. Each brushstroke, each pose, each trail step felt like reclaiming a piece of myself my parents had buried. On a sunny hike, I stood at a lookout, wind whipping my hair, feeling truly alive. No one criticized my posture or called me lacking. Just me, the sky, and boundless possibility. Work flourished. Laura promoted me to senior strategist, praising my leadership. You're a natural, she said. I grinned, remembering my father's claim I'd never have natural authority. Every success proved him wrong. Aunt Elizabeth checked in often. I'm proud of you, she said during a call. You're braver than I ever was. Her words healed another piece of my heart, showing family could be more than my parents' twisted version. Thomas started setting boundaries too. I told Dad I won't join his company, he texted one day. He's furious, but I feel free. I cheered him on, proud of his courage to forge his own path. As year two neared, I reflected on my journey. The girl who cowered under her father's rage was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her worth, who built a life on her terms. Hard days came, doubts, flashes of old pain, but they didn't define me. I launched a podcast, interviewing survivors. Their stories, unique yet familiar, showed how universal this fight was. David, who left his controlling mother at 35, said, "Your podcast pushed me to act." That fueled me to keep going. I began mentoring colleagues, passing on Sophia's gift. Priya, an intern who reminded me of my younger self, was shy but bright. I encouraged her to pitch ideas in meetings. You've got this, I told her, watching her bloom. Helping her felt like healing the girl I used to be. My social circle grew into a chosen family. Game nights, shared dinners, celebrating small wins, these moments were joy, pure and untainted. One night, laughing over a board game, I realized I hadn't felt this safe in years. These people saw me as Mia, whole, enough, loved. My mother's letters grew more honest. I'm learning how my silence hurt you, she wrote. I replied carefully, always with boundaries. I'm glad you're reflecting, I wrote. I need time, but I'm open to respectful steps. I wasn't ready for more, and that was okay. Dr. Lambert remained my compass. You're rewriting your story, she said. Not just for you, but for others who hear it. Her words reminded me my courage had a ripple effect. I volunteered with a local group for abuse survivors, leading boundary-setting workshops. Teaching others to say no was empowering. Lena, a young woman in one session, thanked me. I thought I had to stay with my family forever, she said. You showed me I can choose. Her words echoed my gratitude for Sophia. I planned a solo mountain trip for my 2-year mark. Hiking trails, journaling by a lake, I reflected on the dinner where my father's violence broke his facade, on Sophia's outstretched hand, on Dr. Lambert's question, "What do you want your life to look like?" I'd answered it, choice by choice. My life was mine, full of purpose, connection, joy. But the journey wasn't always smooth. Some days, I'd freeze, overwhelmed by simple choices like picking a new couch or deciding what to cook. Dr. Lambert called it decision fatigue, a remnant of my parents' control. You're learning to trust your instincts, she said. Give it time. I started small, choosing one thing a day, like a new coffee mug, and celebrated each as a victory. My blog evolved into a platform. Readers shared stories of their own escapes, forming a virtual community. One comment, from a woman named Rachel, stuck with me: "I left my abusive husband after reading your post. I didn't know I could until you showed me." I cried reading it, not from sadness, but from the weight of impact. The podcast grew too. I interviewed experts alongside survivors, therapists, advocates, even a lawyer who helped clients leave abusive situations. One episode featured Dr. Lambert, anonymously, who explained narcissistic abuse to listeners. "It's not about you," she said. "It's about their need for control." Comments flooded in: "This explains my childhood." I thought I was crazy. Knowing I was helping others name their pain felt like redemption. I also started public speaking at local events, sharing my story at survivor conferences. My first talk was terrifying, standing before a crowd, voice shaking, but their applause and tearful hugs afterward made it worth it. "You gave me hope," one attendee said. Each talk built my confidence, turning my pain into power. At work, I took on bigger projects. Leading a national campaign felt daunting, but my team's trust carried me. When we won an industry award, Laura called me to the stage. "This is Mia's," she said, handing me the trophy. I thought of my father's claim that I'd never succeed. Holding that award, I knew he was wrong. Thomas and I grew closer. He enrolled in therapy, inspired by my journey. "I'm seeing how Dad's control shaped me too," he said over coffee. "I want to be different." His honesty moved me. We were rebuilding something new, not the sibling rivalry our parents fostered, but a real bond. Aunt Elizabeth became a steady presence. She sent care packages, books, candles, a handwritten note: "You're building something beautiful." Her support showed me family could mean love, not obligation. My mother's letters kept coming, each a bit more vulnerable. "I'm sorry for dismissing your pain," she wrote once. I replied, keeping boundaries tight: "I appreciate your growth. I'm not ready yet, but I'm open to slow steps." I meant it, but my healing didn't depend on her. As I hit the 2-year mark, I stood stronger. The girl who begged for her parents' approval was gone. In her place was a woman who knew her value, who built a life of purpose. Hard moments still came, nightmares, doubts, but I had tools now: therapy, writing, community. If you're reading this and see your pain in my story, hold on. Freedom feels impossible, but it's not. Start small, believe you're enough. Find a safe person, like I found Sophia. Seek a therapist, a friend, a group who'll believe you. You don't have to stay where you're hurt. Thank you for joining my journey. If my story speaks to you, like and share it. Drop a comment, share your turning point, your first step toward freedom. Your voice matters, and I'm listening.